In the early 20th century, Japan experienced a period of ambitious military and imperialistic expansion in the Asian region. They established colonies and occupied territories in several countries in East Asia, including Manchuria in northern China. In 1931, the Imperial Japanese Army invaded Manchuria and established a puppet state called Manchukuo. The occupation of Manchuria provided Japan with access to valuable natural resources and strategic trade routes. During that time, the Japanese government had a keen interest in medical and biological research, particularly in developing biological and chemical weapons for military purposes. The Japanese military believed that biological weapons could become a potent force in modern warfare. In 1937, the war between Japan and China erupted, becoming part of the larger conflict of World War II. In this war context, Japan sought to test biological weapons and observe their impact on humans and populations. Then, the Japanese government established a secret military unit, Unit 731. Unit 731 was founded in 1937 in Pingfang, the nearest area to the city of Harbin in Manchuria. It was disguised as a unit for the investigation of epidemic diseases, concealing its true purpose from the public and international community. In reality, Unit 731 was dedicated to conducting gruesome and immoral medical research and experiments. It was led by General Shiro Ishii, a microbiologist and medical officer of the Imperial Japanese Army, who played a central role in the biological and chemical weapons research and the cruel experiments carried out by the unit. They performed various biological and medical experiments on prisoners of war, civilians, and even children, without regard for ethics or human rights. Here are some details about the cruel experiments conducted by Unit 731. During their operations, Unit 731 conducted experiments to test the effects of various infectious diseases on humans. They injected bacteria and virus diseases like anthrax, cholera, botulism, and others into the bodies of prisoners of war and civilians to understand their transmission and impact. Unit 731 was also involved in testing biological weapons. They released mosquitoes infected with diseases into areas populated by civilians to observe the spread of the diseases. Prisoners of war and civilians suspected of being infected with certain diseases were tied to poles or trees and left to die in excruciating pain to study the development of diseases in the human body. They also cultivated disease-causing bacteria in large quantities within human bodies. They took extreme measures by directly injecting bacteria into specific organs or causing infections on the skin. Prisoners of war under these experiments were intentionally frozen to understand the effects of hypothermia, extremely low body temperature, and how frostbite could be treated. Unit 731 conducted amputations of prisoners' body parts without administering anesthesia as part of their medical experiments. They also performed surgeries and other medical procedures without anesthesia. In addition, Unit 731 conducted experiments with chemical weapons such as mustard gas and phosgene, measuring their effects on humans. These experiments resulted in the suffering and death of thousands of victims, and they were conducted without ethical basis, ruthlessly violating human rights. Operating without close supervision from the Japanese government, members of the unit were granted legal immunity to commit atrocities without fear of punishment. After Japan surrendered in 1945 and World War II ended, Unit 731 became a concern for the Allies, particularly the United States, due to its cruel activities during the war. At that time, the US was seeking information about biological weapons and other research data collected by this unit. The United States launched Operation Paperclip, a secret program aimed at recruiting German and Japanese scientists involved in weapons and military technology research during the war. The objective of this operation was to secure the knowledge and skills of these scientists before the Soviets could obtain them. In 1945, US leaders offered a secret deal to the members of Unit 731. They promised legal immunity for war crimes committed by the members of the unit if they were willing to provide complete information about their research findings. The decision of the United States to grant legal immunity to the members of Unit 731 and not prosecute them for their war crimes has been met with significant criticism and controversy. Many parties have condemned the US for not prosecuting the perpetrators of the cruel experiments and human rights violations against prisoners of war and civilians.